I'm Pete Devlin, and I'm here on behalf of Sevastopol Public Access Television, Channel 986. We're at a session in Fish Creek. Notice I said creek, that's the native way of saying it. And we're talking about something that's dear to the natives and to a lot of visitors, and that's the tower at Peninsula State Park, which is off in that direction. The tower, they say, is structurally unsafe, and they want to take it down or fix it. The whole discussion here with 9 people, including 3 members of the state legislature, will be talking about what the future holds for the tower. And Eagle Tower it's called, or Eagle Bluff Tower. And, well, we see one of the individuals who's, in fact, leading this whole thing. Frank, why don't you come on over for a second? We're just doing local community access television report right now. So you're here, you're the person who's putting to get this meeting together, or at least you're taking the lead on it. What do you hope to accomplish?
We want to shine the light on how important Eagle Tower is to the area, how much community support there is, and look at options other than closing it and tearing it down. Hopefully a low-cost option that we can move forward with and preserve it as a historical site and a great tourist attraction, and I know locals come and use it too. And the view is tremendous, and we just want to kind of shine the light on that and hopefully preserve it as a great historical tourist destination.
I got stuck on 2 words in your answer. Low cost. What is low cost to you?
Well, probably a few $100,000 or less.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is what we're hearing preliminarily is that DNR has been a little bit negative on kind of their concept is tear it down, rebuild, and then we'll need to put in, from my understanding of it, an expensive elevator that will raise costs quite a bit. Having looked at the engineering report that sort of condemned this property or shut it down, yeah, there's some boards and things that are aging, and we should replace those. I think the structure is sound overall, my opinion, and I think we're going to hear from someone here who's in the business of rebuilding these sort of things, and perhaps there's a rebuild or a repair that can make it usable again.
That sounds like it'll work for me. We'll go inside and find out.
Hopefully it does. Thanks.
And so we are about to go inside. We are about to listen to what's said to be an hour to an hour and a half presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, our moderator for the day is no longer here, so I will be moderating this session for you as well. I know there's individuals still coming in the door. We're just going to kick this off so we can stay on time as best we can. But thank you guys very much for attending the Eagle Tower listening session. I personally want to thank Senator Lasee and his office for putting this together and giving us an opportunity to speak on an issue I think we're all very passionate about here. And I've been asked to start off today by us saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Direct your attention forward. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you guys. Before we introduce the panel for today, there's some ground rules. As we all know, listening sessions can get out of hand. We just want to lay down some ground rules for what's going to happen today. First, if you would like to speak to the panel, you can add your name to the public commenter list on the back table. We know that there are many people here today, so please limit your remarks to 2 minutes or less so that we can get everyone's comments in. As the moderator, it's probably my responsibility to be the timekeeper as well. And I will be respectful, but I will keep you to 2 minutes so that we can get through. There's a sign-up sheet back there as well. We ask that you signed in so we know how many concerned citizens are meeting here today. Second, as a listening session, the panel is here to gather comments and take questions for research and review. They may be able to answer some questions, but may need to investigate your concern further and conduct more in-depth reviews. As someone who's had to do these before, putting someone on the spot, be respectful if they say, I will get back to you. They're simply trying to get you the appropriate information, not a knee-jerk reaction. Lastly, please be courteous and kind to the panel, of which I am a member, please. And they will return the favor to you. Now the introductions, please. If I get any last names wrong, I do apologize. We have, I'm going to start at the center of the table with Senator Frank Lasee. And
Representative Joel Kitchens. We have Senator Rob Cowles with us. With the DNR, Jeremy, is it Leiterman?
Jerry Leiterman.
Sorry, Jerry Leiterman. He's DNR Northeast Region Parks and Recreation Manager. Aaron Buchholz, and DNR Northeast Region District Land Representative. Tim Gary, who is a legislative liaison and a Sturgeon Bay native. We have Philip Burke with the Door County Visitor Bureau. We have Gary Kemp, who's a board member of the Friends of Peninsula State Park. And then you have myself, Brian Kelsey, here today for the Fish Creek Civic Association. Thanks for being here, and we will begin the listening session with a brief presentation from our first panelist from the Department of Natural Resources.
Good afternoon. Senator Lasee, thank you for inviting us along with the general public regarding the status of Eagle Tower at Peninsula State Park. I'll just have a couple opening questions or a couple of opening remarks regarding the bit of a history and where we're at with the tower. The 75-foot tower, approximately 80 years old. There was a detailed inspection conducted on the tower this past April, and subsequently the report recommended that public use of the tower to stop the public use of the tower, which the department then closed the tower, I believe, around the latter part of May. And the report also recommended that the tower should be raised. I just want to be very clear, the department has not made any final decisions on the status of the tower going forward. We view this as a starting point moving forward to engage the public. One last thing I want to mention, the master planning process for Door County State Parks is going to start December of this year. And this topic, along with many other topics regarding the management of Peninsula State Park and other management issues going on at other state parks in Door County, this will start in December. So this is dovetailing into this master planning process. With public comment, yes.
Anything further?
I do not think so.
Okay, Aaron?
No, I think that was.
Okay. Anything else from the DNR?
I'd like to add that we hope that by the end of this meeting and through the master planning process, that the public understands that they deserve something that is usable and what they want. It's responsive to public demand. That's public in terms of locals and throughout the state that own these state properties. And that the department is going to balance whatever the future of Eagle Tower in Peninsula State Park is going to be based off of public demand and our responsibility using public resources, whether it be human resources, financial resources, or natural resources. Neither one, public demand or our responsibility, can outweigh the other one. In the end, if we have something here at Peninsula Park that the public doesn't want, but it is completely responsible with financial resources, that's not going to be a positive outcome. If we have something that is completely what the public wants, but is not usable, that won't be a positive outcome either. So we really do need to balance public desires with the responsible use of all of our resources.
Thank you very much, Tim. Senator Lasee?
Well, I organized this because I wanted to give all of you a chance to talk with kind of the DNR folks, us as well, but I've been hearing a lot of feedback, and we wrote an email newsletter on this, and we got this big stack of emails back, and other people I've been hearing this is an important issue, and I wanted to give you folks an opportunity to let the DNR know how important it is, and I think there's a lot of local support for this, and a lot of support throughout the state. The Peninsula State Park gets about 1 million visitors a year, and I would guess that most of those come in a 6-month period, And I think also my just conservative guesstimate, maybe there's some official count someplace, but I think very conservatively 1 out of 10 people who visit Peninsula State Park took the trek up the Eagle Tower. I think in my opinion this should be much more simpler than it is. I have looked at the engineering report and I don't think the structure itself is a big problem or couldn't be shored up. Some of the boards are getting old and those should be replaced. But that shouldn't be all that expensive. What do we do with homes that are 80, 100, 200 years old as you go in and replace the things that need replacing? But we'll hear from that. I mean, some of the underlying issue is if it should be torn down and decided to be rebuilt, there's a whole new set of rules that will drive up the cost. What I've been informed is the Americans with Disability Act would require us to put up some type of an elevator so folks with disabilities could get to the top or don't want to make the trek. I think that adds a lot of expense and complexity. I'm guessing that there's a lot of local support to keep it as it is, shore it up, fix it up, and have it open for next season, not 2 or 3 seasons from now.
I really appreciate Senator Lasee having organized this meeting today. I think from the time that I heard it closed down, in my mind, there was never any question that we would have a tower there. Whether, my preference would be that we repair the present tower, but, I still want to see more from the engineering folks about whether that's going to be possible or not. But I know that, I hear from a lot of people as well in Door County, and I know that there's a huge will to get this done. And knowing the people in Door County, we will find a way to get it done. So that's all I have.
I'm Senator Rob Coles. I want to thank Frank for organizing this. My family has pretty deep roots in this county. I'm very familiar with Peninsula Park. I love our state parks. They not only do great things for our spirit, but they do great things for our economy. I think there's a lot of reasons to argue that the tower is a focal point. It's a symbol of this great park, and I think the reason we've got so many people here today and legislators that we want to figure out some way to save it. So thank you all for being here today. Let's get our heads around this thing and hopefully save it in place. I'm concerned if it comes down, it could be years before it's replaced.
I'm Phil Burns with the Door County Visitor Bureau. I'm speaking on behalf of our organization as well as Jack Moneypenny, our president, who had hoped to be here but was returning from a trip out of state this morning. The Bureau stands very strongly of the opinion that the significance of the tower, not only just itself, but as our community is full of diverse offerings, there's something very intrinsic about the experience that's had there. Even though it's very simple, it is that purest form of exhilaration, of joy, of that adventure of going up there. We hear so often, I have the benefit of having my office just up the staircase from the information windows where many questions are asked day in and day out. And we have about 34,000 individuals that come through that lobby each year. And the number of times that I hear individuals talking about this tower, that they've got to go see this tower. There's so many of them that it's almost like a holy grail of their travels. And we've been getting so many new visitors coming to the county. And those are the inquiries they've heard from others. That's what you have to do. And we know that significantly it's a short piece of their stay. And when they're here, they're impacting the local economy throughout the county, even the region, because of some of those simple little triggers that say, we've got to do that. And the tower has always been a call to action for visiting Door County.
Thank you. Gary? My name is Gary Kemp. I'm representing the Friends of Peninsula Park. Thank you, Senator Lasee. Thank you for coming. Very good news today. A lot of you may not realize the information that we are going to have a master plan started. We have been trying to have a master plan started for the last pretty much 10 years. And it kept getting kicked down the road because of other things of greater importance, probably in the minds of the DNR. This will do a lot, not only for the future restoration and or rebuilding of the tower, but all the parks in Door County. So that was a very significant piece of information that you received today. And I also want you to realize that based on what we have been told in the past, this process takes anywhere from 18 to 24 months. Therefore, this is almost a moratorium that has been placed on this action by the fact that they're going to include it in the master plan, which I think also is great news. We wanted, as a group, to do what is best for the park. That's our whole purpose as an organization, to support financially, to support with manpower, and to support what is the best interest of the park. And I know that's why you're here. And we believe that keeping the existing tower would be, firstly, the best thing. If not, secondly, we have to have another tower. And as somebody said, if it goes down, it may never come back, or if it does come back, who knows when and what it would look like. So, frankly, I think that we all need to make ourselves known over the next 12 to 18 to 24 months. Keep sending the emails. Let us know. If you want to keep what's there, that should be number one on your list. Number two should be something else, but never nothing.
Thank you, Gary. My name is Brian Kelsey, as I said at the introduction. I'm here today as a board member of the Fish Creek Civic Association. I also have the pleasure of serving on the Governor's Council on Tourism as well as the Wisconsin Arts Board, both appointed positions. And more importantly, I'm coming today to testify myself as to what I find important. And so if you know me, if you've ever heard me talk at anything, I never write anything down. Today I'm breaking that. It's the first time I wanted to actually put down on paper what I felt was important to say to the DNR and to our senators and Representative Kitchens today as to what I personally feel. I don't speak on behalf of all of our members, but I think I'm preaching to the choir in this room. In 1914, a tower was built at the location of the current tower. In 1932, that tower was rebuilt as an observation tower for the public to access, to take in the incredible views and to see the incredible geography of Door County. At the time, this stood as probably one of the only man-built tourism-based attractions. Remember, our lighthouses were not attractions, they were aids to navigation and not tourism-based. As the head of an organization that is celebrating its 80th season this year, I look back to the great vision and craftsmanship of the 208 men of the Civilian Conservation Corps camp who completed such projects as Eagle Tower, stone fences, planting trees, and making the hiking trails that we absolutely love at Peninsula State Park today. They and their leaders saw the great potential of tourism and were a large part of making Peninsula State Park one, if not the most complete state park in the system. Peninsula State Park and Devil's Lake are often called the crown jewels of Wisconsin's state park system, a system which includes 46 state parks, 14 state trails, 4 recreational areas, and 2 national scenic trails. These crown jewels, believe it or not, provide a substantial amount of revenue for the state park system and subsidize other state parks which do not have adequate user fee or support to fund them and keep them viable. As a crown jewel, what we do or allow to happen or allow not to happen will have a great impact far beyond our county. As it stands, we need to be finding ways of bringing more user fee revenue into the park system so that we may continue to operate at a level we not only desire, but expect. We all know the saying, you gotta spend money to make money. We must spend money in our park system to continue to pay not only for our park, nor the other 4 parks in this county, but to those lesser known and frequented parks that other communities so greatly rely on for their public lands. Tourism in Fish Creek, Door County, and Wisconsin on the whole is based on the unique symbiotic relationship of nature, art, incredible amenities such as the lodging, dining, shopping, imbibing, wherever you go. It is not a question to me that the businesses directly bordering the park benefit greatly from those individuals who spend time in the park, whether that be for a week, a weekend, or simply an hour. The tower has been a substantial draw for visitors and locals alike, and the reason many individuals purchase short-term park passes is to climb Eagle Tower and to take in its magnificent vista. Any time of year, this view is stunning, but I'm certain when folks finish taking in their climb of the tower, they visit a shop, a restaurant, a coffee shop, what have you, to simply relax and to share and discuss the experience they just had. To me, the question isn't should we restore or rebuild the tower, it is simply how we get it done. We must do this as a symbol to the rest of the state of the resilience of the people of Door County, whether you be full-time or part-time. I know this is challenging, but it is my great hope that we can approach this task without pointing blame. There is no point looking backwards. We must look to the future as those individuals did in 1932 when they rebuilt this tower. Let us stand with them in strong recognition of the importance of such features to our tourism product that they helped to develop over 83 years ago. Let this be a symbol of the quality of life we so strongly hold on to and why we call this place home. This is not a Fish Creek issue. This is a Door County and a Wisconsin issue. We are Wisconsinites. We are not afraid of a challenge. Quite the opposite. We rise to the challenge as I believe a restored or new tower will rise on Eagle Bluff for future generations to climb and with which to be enamored. There is a quote that is the perfect way for me to close this up, and it goes, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." I have loved every moment, view, and feeling standing on the top of Eagle Tower, and I hope this shoulder remains a solid platform to inspire individuals in the future. Sorry if I get emotional about that stuff. It means something to me. So, okay, we want to move on to the public comment section, and I do want to remind you, 2 minutes, I will cut you off. I will respectfully cut you off, but it is important that we stick to this so that we all have an opportunity to say what we need to say, whether it's to our senators, our representatives, to the DNR, to the parks, to the Visitor Bureau, to Fish Creek Civic Association, whoever it is. I have the list of those who have signed up. I will call you by name. And I will ask Steve Burnt to come forward first.
Hi, my name is Steve Burnt. I'm a resident of Muskego, Wisconsin. I also own a piece of vacation property up here. It's called Site 566 in Welker's Campground in Peninsula State Park. I've used the state parks extensively. I camp frequently. I've been all across the state. There are so many gorgeous state parks from Wyalusing out on the Mississippi River to Peninsula. Why Devil's Lake is considered one of the other crown jewels, I have no idea because there's only one, and it's Peninsula. I travel frequently. I'm an outdoor kind of guy. I just got back from Glacier National Park, one of the most beautiful national parks in our system. Yet I've been there once. For the past 20 years, Peninsula State Park has been my family's summer vacation with me and my wife and my 2 boys. There is not a year that has gone by where we have not climbed Eagle Tower at least once. There has not been a year that's gone by that we haven't driven past Eagle Tower, been frustrated by all the traffic, slowing me down from getting to one of my other destinations. Most frequently, those destinations have to do with shopping and eating in Door County, in Fish Creek, in Sister Bay, in Ephraim, in Egg Harbor. I would guesstimate I spend probably $2,000 to $3,000 per year in Door County. I'm only here for maybe 2 weeks a year total, okay? Eagle Tower has been a big part of my life. Eagle Tower has been a big part of many people's lives. I was shocked to come into the park and sit down at my campsite and open up the Peninsula State Park newspaper for the year, and the 10 top things to do in Peninsula State Park. Guess what was number 1? Climb Eagle Tower. Well, there was no Eagle Tower to climb. I was disappointed, okay? The last comment I'd really like to make is, has anybody ever seen the show Discover Wisconsin? Okay, I believe it is promoted by our Department of Tourism. I have seen Governor Walker stand up with the head of the Department of Tourism, I believe it's Stephanie Klett, and so frequently in commercials and on those shows, you know what you see in the background? Eagle Tower, okay? I went up to the Tannenbaum shop up in Sister Bay, and I was talking to the owner, and we were talking about Eagle Tower, and he pulls out this nifty little carved Santa Claus, and it's like $250, like stands this high, this tiny little thing. But do you know what was on the back of that Santa Claus? Any guesses? Eagle Tower. Thank you very much.
You know, I appreciate everybody spending time and getting organized to focus on this topic. It's critically important. I just moved from Naperville, Illinois with my family, and we opened up, bought a business in Ephraim, the Village Green Lodge. So I actually am able, I can walk out my back door and I can see Eagle Tower, I can see the bluff, and of course see Peninsula Park. It's a phenomenal resource, and I would just suggest this. I don't like the idea of just patchwork. I think that the thought process needs to be bigger. It needs to be grander. It needs to be focused on ADA compliance. Naperville, Illinois has a carillon which stands 175 feet high. It was considerable expense. It's a cement structure. You can climb to the top. There is an actual bell organ that is played by virtuosos from around the world. Not suggesting that Eagle Tower become a musical instrument, but it does need to be replaced in a way that allows for an elevator system and access for everyone, in my opinion. And so how do we pay for that? It's a tremendous amount of money. I took, my kids are going to be upset because when they go to play Chenga, there's going to be one piece missing. I would encourage you not to destroy the remnants of Eagle Tower, yet store them, not for preservation, but so that our local businesses can get and gather behind as a means to pay for, or at least defray, some of the expenses that are going to be incurred in building the new tower. So in other words, let's save some of those timbers, cut them into small pieces, put them in bags, and sell them to the 2 million people that come to this county every year to recreate, and many of them do so at Eagle Tower. Thanks a bunch. Appreciate it.
My name is Holly Cole, and I have a history here too. I know most of you, so it's really great to see all of you guys. For 52 years, I'm 52 years old, I've gone to Peninsula State Park. But beyond that, my family has been coming here for well over 100 years. As a matter of fact, most of us have family that's been coming here for well over 100 years. When Peninsula State Park first started having campers, you used to have to put all of your stuff on a train and have the train bring your stuff here. And it's just very interesting. And I'm sure what I want to say is all of us have a connection with this park. It is our jewel. There's a reason we're here, and the reason we moved here, we moved to Door County, we moved to Sturgeon Bay and Fish Creek and Ephraim, and respectfully, sir, it's the reason you moved here too. There was something that caught your attention here, and it kept us here. And one of the thing that started it all, 150 or more years ago, was Peninsula State Park. That was the initial draw. I'm going to ask you guys a few things. Do you remember the wishing tree, the 12 disciples, the totem pole, the apple orchards, Grandma Yule's cabin and her garden, the Girl Scout camp, hand pumps, the ski hill, the bonfire ring and the dancing Indian boy, hill number 9, the shanties of Shanty Bay, and the tower. These were all scars on the jewel of Peninsula State Park. When Peninsula State Park first opened as a park and people started coming there every summer, and I would stay there 4 months of the year. And yes, you used to be able to do that. Okay. What I'm saying is these were the scars that made this park wonderful. And one by one, they've been taken away. And at one point, something's going to happen. You're going to remove something that leaves a hole. But now it's a hole that can no longer be filled. And the thing that brought us all here and made this county the magnificent county that it is will be gone. And we're ordinary. And we're not special anymore. And I do really desperately want to tell you one really super story about the tower. In July 20th of 1969, does anybody know what happened that day? Man first walked on the moon. And who watched it? I did. I was a little kid and my family and a bunch of other people from the top of the tower. and we had extension cords, and we plugged into somebody's car, and we had this little teeny tiny TV, and we started at the top of the tower, then we had to go down, and we ended up being able to watch it on the first platform, and it was children and grown men, and we were crying, and we were cussing, and every time it went fuzzy, because everything was fuzzy back then, but we watched the man go to the moon from the top of the tower. We see things. It's been a part of our life. Don't make a hole that can no longer be filled. You came here because you loved it. We came here because we loved it here. That's why we loved it. It's those scars that made it perfect. So, thank you.
Paul Thacker, please.
Hello, I'm Paul Thackard. We own a campground, and before we owned the campground, we camped here at Peninsula for 25 years. I'm really not sure why we even have this meeting. The Peninsula State Park and the entire state park just upgraded their electrical to 20, 30, 50s. They fixed the roads. If the sanitation thing, the pump would go out, you wouldn't have a conference to see if we could fix the water or whatever. You would just go ahead and fix it. They fixed the tower at Potawatomi. Blue Mountain State Park has a tower. Devil's Lake doesn't need a tower because you hike the bluffs. I don't know, it just seems like, why are we even discussing this? The Packers are looking for money to ways of distributing their over taxes. Approach the Packers and put a Packer sign on it and say, hey, let's build a new tower. I mean, what more public relations can you ask for than have a Green Bay Packer sign on the tower? It just doesn't seem to make any sense. We send people to Peninsula. We have like an itinerary service, and the best thing, people come back and go, I only made it to the second level. I made it all the way to the top. I couldn't make it, but they tried and they seen it. And while you're doing this, like I said, I don't even know why you're even discussing it. It should be just fixed. And also on Sven's Bluff, there used to be a tower there. If you can get the finances, if you can get it, build another one over on the Green Bay side. Make Peninsula great, because somebody at one time, I don't even know who did it, decided that before tourism, before it was all that, they'd said, hey, Peninsula State Park will never have a condo. It'll never have an apartment. So anyways, let's just keep it like that. So thank you.
Dick Scary, I'm a resident of Fish Creek. Carol and I moved here in 1977. We opened up a little cafe, and 39 years later, we're still working. And I just wanted to share with you how important Peninsula State Park and the Eagle Tower is. I'm getting feedback from people who said, well, when I was a kid, we used to go to the tower. I can't get on there this year. What's going on? So I'd have to tell them that it was needed of repair. Well, we used to take our kids there, and it's just such a focal point. I mean, Door County has grown so much since I moved here in 1977. I've been happy to be a part of it. But I think the Peninsula State Park and the tower have always been a focal point. It's been something that people come to and see. And like I say, this summer I spent a lot of time talking to my customers as they're leaving. Oh, I can't get up the tower. I can't do this. I can't do that with that. But and so I would encourage that we do something quickly. And I'm a supporter of substantial repair of the existing building. If it comes to where it can't be done, well then, do whatever we do, we have to do quickly and do it substantially and get the job done. Now, I've been around long enough, and I've been elected the town chair of the town of Gibraltar. And with that in mind, Peninsula State Park was a part of Gibraltar Township for years and years and years. As a matter of fact, we still own the roads. The town still owned the roads in there until a few years ago. And so we've always been neighbors, and we've always had a real critical a relationship with Peninsula State Park. And I would like to tell you that as a town chair, as you go forward with your master plan, any way that I can be of assistance and get this job done quickly, I will put my best effort forward. Also, we have upcoming projects other than this too that we want to talk to the Peninsula State Park and the DNR about. And so I think it's just a perfect time for us to get together. And I've been involved in a lot of things that have developed up here when we decided to do the auditorium, when we started to do the Y, when we started to do the art school and those kinds of things. I've been active and involved with those, and I really think that this is a project that can be done quickly and done well, and we can get it 24 months. That's too long. Let's go for a year. Thank you.
I knew that was stressed for me. Okay, I served on the National Trust Advisory Board. I also served on the Wisconsin Trust for Historic Preservation Board. And did some research on this, and on the DNR website, they had listed that this was a fire tower. Originally built to actually, in that location exactly, and that height, in order to reach from Ellison Bay past Fish Creek and to look for forest fires. That's the history the DNR website said. I looked up historic fire towers and found out there's huge amounts of financing available, grants. There's national groups, and the National Trust actually has a preservation program for fire towers. It's really, at this point, inexcusable to do anything but save our history. And the root, actually, the symbolic actions of the state, that they would tear out Northern Door's most iconic historic structure, is really scary. It's really scary and something that has to be addressed. We have to look at ourselves that this even got to be considered. You know, this is Northern Door's steel bridge. This is Evanston, Illinois' little fake tower. But if we don't keep the things that make us special and define us as unique, we're going to lose our tourism completely, because that's the only reason anybody's here. Everywhere else has a water view. Everyone else has shopping. Everyone else has water. We have our history, and if we don't wake up and don't start taking charge of it proactively, instead of in rooms like this where the wrecking ball is happening, all of us will lose our economy. And it's about dollars and cents. That's jobs. That's real jobs. And we should be actually proactive. Thank you.
Thank you. It's wonderful to see all this interest here and to see all you wonderful people up here. Thank you very much for coming and organizing this. I am a member of Friends of Peninsula State Park since its inception in 2007. It's not very old. It's a very important part of our life up here. I wanted to add a little something. Senator Lasee, in his article, had said that we get well over 1 million visitors a year, and they spend over $30 million a year, which goes into the local economy. So this is not only a place of beauty that draws people, this is our financial security part of it. As membership chairman, I get letters back every year from our members, and I cannot tell you how many comments we always get about the tower. And I cannot tell you how sad the comments were this year when they had read it's going to be raised. It's very, very heartening to think that there is hope for this. I would strongly recommend that a moratorium be placed, that nothing will be done, at least within the next year, till we can get various consultants. We can find out who else knows how to build towers and how we can take care of this, because it really is a special place in this crown jewel of state parks. Thank you.
And mine will be short and sweet. I happen to be the granddaughter of A.E. Doolittle, And there are 12 cousins remaining, and I'm speaking for all of them, too. My grandfather died when I was quite young, but he came here with his family, a large family, in 1912. They arrived a little later because there was not a house big enough for them. But his vision from day one was tourism. And I've heard enough from aunts and uncles and older cousins that that was his motive. Yes, the towers were within his first 2 years of his agenda, and they were lookout towers, so to speak, but his main the main thing was to attract tourism. He wanted to share the beautiful landscape and the splendid view from the top of the tower where you can see the lake and the bay. And what followed in that same vein were the golf course, the campgrounds, all the things that he could think of that would bring tourism to Door County. And I was very young when he died. I didn't know him, but I feel like I did. And I have a great respect and love, deep love for Peninsula State Park. Thank you.
Yes, I guess I have to echo what was said over here before. I don't know why we're here. I mean, I had 50, 60-some friends of mine camping in the park with me this year, and everybody said, well, of course they're going to fix it. I said, but they might not. And they said, no, that's absolutely ridiculous. They wouldn't consider not having it. And I guess that's my thing. And it's a huge tourist attraction. I've been coming to that park for 40-some years and climbing that tower. When our main economy in Door County is tourism, how can we possibly take down the biggest attraction that we have? That's it.
Good morning. Frank, I've got one of your brochures here. And down here I note the word, it says minor repairs in the piece of you've got here. It doesn't seem like we're talking about minor repairs. I'd like it to be minor repairs, but I kind of believe what it's right here, minor repairs. Minor repairs mean we don't need to tear the whole thing down, and I can't turn this damn thing off. People have thrown them on the floor, but I won't. Okay. The other thing that concerns me is, which one of you guys from the DNR can tell me how much money you guys collect a year from people coming in and paying fees to camp?
Statewide?
No, Peninsula Park. We're only here for Peninsula Park.
Okay. I don't have that information. What I can tell you, though, that may help, that the 5 state parks in Door County accounts for 20% of the overall revenue for the entire system. But I can't speak specifically for Peninsula.
Well, I'd like to know that figure someday when you get an opportunity. Number 2, how much money does the Peninsula State Park give to other operations? What does it cost? Let's just say $100,000 to operate Peninsula State Park, and you take in $200,000. Then $100,000 goes out of here to support other places. How much money do you get from the golf course, which is the only state-owned golf course in the state? How much revenue do you get from the Peninsula State Golf Course?
Yeah, I don't have the specific numbers on that, but there's a...
I do.
Okay.
It's over $200,000 a year. The golf course gives to the park, the state of Wisconsin, $200,000. Maybe we could use a little of that money and with our ingenuity, rebuild it like it originally was intended. Do not tear it down. That's what we want to do. We take things, we tear them down, we build up other things. This is very important. Fix it. We know how. We have the knowledge. Fix it.
You had had an engineering firm look at the tower, just one? And why not another engineering firm? Second opinion, like going to a doctor? Why not?
Typically, when inspections are done, these individuals are on, if you will, a retainer with the state of Wisconsin. And so it's a vetted outfit, and typically this is the way business is conducted in the state of Wisconsin.
Don't you think a second opinion might be helpful? Because as Chuck said, it shows minor structural deficiencies.
You know, moving forward with the public participation process, with the master plan, that may be something that's going to be identified, and people may decide to spend that money to have another look at the tower. So it's quite possible that could happen.
And if I could add,
Well, I've been coming up here since 1949, and that's a very important part of my life, my history, and the park. So I don't want to see it torn down as the rest of us. But I do think a second opinion is in order. Does everybody agree with that? Yeah.
If I could add just a bit of clarification there, we do have publicly paid employees and DNR staff that have engineering backgrounds and have provided engineering services to the department. So that is a public employee. Second backstop verification or review of that which we contract out for. But that doesn't mean that we can't have more discussion about the report, and we would welcome public input on their thoughts about the report.
Hello, thank you, Senator Lasee, for having this. My name is Paige Funkhauser. I am here on behalf of Sister Bay Advancement Association and the Sister Bay Visitor Center. Peninsula State Park, climbing Eagle Park Tower is probably one of the top 5 things that we recommend people to do, outside of going to see the goats, of course, and Al Johnson's. But cherries, climb the tower, go see the goats, you know, go along the lake. Those are definitely very much, as Phil pointed out, holy grail of our travels in Door County, Wisconsin. We refer them to come to Fish Creek from Sister Bay, you know, because as we all know in Door County, it's not just about each individual community, it's about the group as a whole. It is iconic, and as other people have pointed out, I definitely think this is something worthwhile to keep. However, I'm going to say something that's not going to be real popular right now. Our park has some other failing infrastructure. We've got lift stations that have issues. We have roads that have issues. We have a nature center that, for a park of its size, with the number of visitors that come, is not one of the best. One of the people that works for me, who worked for the Peninsula State Park, he said if it wasn't for the taxidermy on the walls, there wouldn't really be anything to look at in the nature center. So as much as I am in favor of keeping Eagle Tower, personally, right now, I speak personally, I think we also need to look at a public fundraising campaign. Let's look at a Kickstarter campaign. Let's look at a GoFundMe. Christy, I very much appreciate you doing the research on the legwork for the trust and the grants, because I think that is very much of something that we need to pursue. Our state park, they're tapped. We don't even have enough people to ranger all of the state park. We have significant other issues too. Mr. McCarthy brought up his Jenga. I think maybe you're trying to get at maybe some kind of buy a board concept. That's what popped in my mind. The Noble House does buy a brick in front of the walkway. I've had countless people in my various jobs in Door County this summer look at me and say, where can I donate money to help rebuild Eagle Tower?
Nick Anderson, please.
My gosh, when I signed up, I didn't think I was signing up to make a comment, but my wife Gail made a very good comment, and I follow her lead substantially, but I just wanted to mention that it was this summer that our grandchildren were here, and our kids have also climbed the tower. When they heard they could not climb that tower, they were just crushed, and I really just want to cast my vote for saying we've got to keep that tower standing, make the repairs that we can, and I belong to the Friends of Peninsula State Park, and we hope that maybe we can lend some help too to restore that tower and keep it there for that beautiful historic place for as long as we can. Thank you.
Sissy Franklin, and unfortunately my accent lets you know I'm not a local. And you're lucky because I'm not a public speaker, so this will be short. I have adored Door County since I was 5 years old. We've come here, I'm not going to tell you how many decades. The tower has always been what I do every year when I'm here. I've introduced it to our children and now to our grandchildren. And Door County is definitely tourism-based. I think the tower is a major factor in that. And I think Paris has the Eiffel Tower. New York has the Empire State Building. And I think Door County needs to keep this tower. Thank you.
Speak. Frank, I'd like to thank you for organizing this today. My name is Brian Hackbarth. I'm a Gibraltar Town Board Supervisor. I think this is a very important issue to our community. Keep maintaining the character of a community or Northern Door here in Gibraltar. It's like putting together a puzzle. And this is a critical piece of the puzzle, and we cannot complete our puzzle and keep our puzzle complete and have the character that people have come to know us for without this tower. One question that one of the gentlemen from the DNR asked is there public support to maintain this? So I'd like to ask the question by a show of hands. Everyone in here that would like to see the tower saved, please raise your hand.
How many of you will donate?
Everyone opposed to saving the tower? I hope that answers your question, and we've heard from a lot of people here today. I thank you all for the time, and I hope you can save the tower. Thank you.
Steve?
Afternoon. I'm Steve Soames. I'm also a town supervisor in Gibraltar, and in another week I'll be the county board representative for this area, District 18. This is important. There's no question it's important to the people. I think the county board is going to be on board if need be to help support something like this. We need to fix this tower. I'm going to tell you a little different story. When I was 12 years old, I got my snowmobile safety course, and one of the first things I did was I took a ride in the park, and at that time you could ride up to the tower on a trail, and I actually went to the tower when I was 12 years old, and I remember that to this day as it happened yesterday. So there's another aspect of winter sporting. I'm also the president of the Door County Trails Association, and snowmobilers, you know, that is the jewel of Door County for snowmobilers. Now, granted, you now have to walk up to get to the tower, but I see many times, I see snowmobiles parked in the park, and I see tracks walking up to the tower. I'm not sure now if you can actually climb the tower in the winter. It's probably shut off in the winter for the last number of years, but can you climb it in the winter yet? I haven't walked up there for many years, but anyway, but on another aspect, I go through the park almost every weekend, all summer long, and that is like traffic central all day long, every weekend when I'm through there. So I think it's important, and I think the audience tells the story along with a lot of people that aren't here today. So I hope you guys can work something out. Thank you.
This guys. My name's Steve Sauter. I am a resident of Door County for 10 years now, and my wife and I moved up here and are raising our family here. I'm also a village trustee in Ephraim, and we are going through a similar experience where we're repaving the road. The DOT is doing that, and we had a listening session last week. And as you may know, everybody in here knows, trying to get a group of people to actually agree on something in Door County is damn near impossible. this issue, and I want to thank you also because you know if we didn't have this going on, it would be only about the highway in Ephraim. We got to talk about this a little bit. But I just wanted to let you know that as a trustee in the village, I have taken numerous calls in the all summer long, but especially the last few days, wanting to know what's going on, and we really don't know how to participate. I think that's the big question we all have is, how do we participate? How do we help? How do we get involved in retaining this iconic piece of our community? And I guess that's the other thing I'd like to talk about. We talked about donating money, if it's a funding issue. I mean, our community has a strong nonprofit background and a commitment. I just don't think those should be none of those things should be in the way of us retaining this tower and keeping our community and making it what I think is already there, an asset to our community. And my 6-year-old daughter was very upset because she was not allowed to climb the tower until this year, and I would love for her to be able to do that. So thank you, everyone.
My name is John Cox, former village president of the Village Ephraim, current vice president of the Ephraim Business Council, business owner in town, and a resident of the village since 1972. I just want to read an email that was sent to Senator Lasee on behalf of the Ephraim Business Council from our tourism administrator. Senator Lasee, on behalf of the Ephraim Business Council, I would like to express my deep appreciation for your commitment to the preservation of Eagle Tower. Our tourism economy is built on Door County's bounty of natural resources. The most immediate to us in Ephraim is Peninsula State Park and Eagle Tower. Eagle Tower is a key feature of Peninsula State Park, and its benefit to our tourism economy is tremendous. Our Summer Visitor Information Center looks out upon the bluffs of Peninsula State Park across Eagle Harbor, and I have experienced firsthand the excitement of the visitors as I point out Eagle Tower and describe the view and from the top of its platform. This is certainly a view and an experience worth preserving, and I hope the Ephraim Business Council is afforded the opportunity to participate in the solution to repair or rebuild Eagle Tower for future generations. The Ephraim Business Council supports your goal of influencing the preservation of Eagle Tower and wishes you great success to this end. Thank you for your leadership on this most important issue. And that's to everybody on the panel. Thank you so much.
2 more. Pauline Johns, please.
Good afternoon. I'll be your rabble-rouser. When I visited Jamaica, we were allowed to walk up a waterfall and stand under the waterfall and have the water hit us on the head and create a beautiful picture for our memories. When you go to a beach, it says swim at your own risk, open the tower, put up a sign, climb at your own risk. You're keeping people from having memories. And that's going to affect the future generations.
Hello. I'm Tim Erskine. I live in Sister Bay, and I'm a movie producer, and I'm also a mechanical engineer and an inventor on over 60 patents. So I have a background in devising contraptions and machines, have some experience in structural engineering. And I have to comment, you guys are a very handsome-looking council of men up there, which I've been admiring. We are just now releasing a feature film that we shot in Door County called The Emissary. It's a science fiction film, and we happen to have the privilege of shooting a scene for this movie on top of Eagle Tower. And it's a place of shared dreams and shared experiences of looking out at the horizon, wondering about all the things that are possible that people can achieve together. And it's a place of shared experience. It's a small patch of man-made wood that connects us all in that dream space. And if you remove that patch of wood, it cannot be replaced with a concrete patch or a steel patch. and maintain that continuity of shared dreams. So it's very crucial that we keep that patch of wood, that structure to the best of our ability in that spot. So I would lobby heavily not to replace that tower. And to that effect, I would like to see that moratorium made official so that we get some breathing room and we're not all on the edge that somebody's going to come down with a D5 cat and tear the tower down. I think that's all we need. And I'd like to see that tower on the National Historic Register. That will take some time, but why not? Why shouldn't we preserve that place forever and not have to go through this experience again? So those are the main things. And as an engineer, if I have just one more minute, aside from repairing and restoration, the members and elements of the tower that have worn out or have become deteriorated, there are other approaches that can be inventive if that's not possible. Imagine an exoskeleton that's subtly crafted so that it doesn't interfere with the beauty of the tower and yet can lend space-age support to the members to take over where wood cannot. So there's more than just one approach here available for preserving what's there. So keep an open mind. We absolutely can rebuild that tower. A bunch of Boy Scouts built these towers a century ago. We, Wisconsinites, could put a man on the moon if we put our mind to it. We can repair this tower, and if the one on Potawatomi wears out, we'll fix that one, and we'll fix the one on Washington Island, and those towers will stay. So.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much for being respectful of the 2 minutes. I think it means a lot that we can have civil discourse and be able to share what's in our heart and in our mind. If you didn't have a chance to share something and you do want to, on the sheet at the door when you came in from Senator Lasee's office, there's an email address, mailing address as well if you want to send something. If there's someone who you feel has an opinion that you feel should be heard, please share that information so that can get to Senator Lasee's office. Senator, do you have any closing remarks?
Thank you all for being here. Thank you for expressing your opinion. We're going to continue to work this. We're going to continue to work, and I think I'd like to see it open for next season before Labor Day. So that's going to take some doing if we're going to do that. I know the natural impetus of large organizations is to kind of study it. But if we study this, it'll go on for a very long time, multi-years. So I'm going to do what I can do. Contact me if you haven't already. We'll kind of keep pushing on this issue and keep working to get it settled and see if we can get something somewhere. So I'm interested in ideas. I think we need to explore what really needs to be done if we're just going to repair it, so we can continue to use it, and that even may buy us some time to do a long-term look at, depending on how we use our resources. Perhaps there is an avenue for local effort as well, some local fundraising to offset some of the costs. So we'll explore those and work with you folks to see what we can do to make this happen. So I'm glad you're here. Thank you.
So after an hour of testimony from, I counted 18 people, pretty much the consensus of the audience is that we keep this tower here and do whatever is necessary to rebuild it, to make it open to the public. One woman toward the end offered a really great line, I thought. And it says, she said, her name is Pauline Johns, and she said, you're keeping people from having memories by keeping the tower closed. From here, we don't know where it goes, but Senator Lasee, who called the group together, says that he'd like to see it open again next year on Eagle Bluff.